Hi everyone, in this video we'll be taking a look at creating the joints for the hands. Okay, so that would include a palm joint and also finger joints for index finger, middle and the pinky finger, at the same time the thumb as well. Now I'm going to go to the top view in a short while, but what we can do is now we can create a joint. You can choose any view at all. Okay, it does not really matter. So maybe I use the front view. I'm going to go to create my joint. I just need a single joint. So for example, I'm just going to put one joint here. I'm going to press enter. Right now, so with this joint, this particular joint, I'm going to snap it to the position here. Okay, at the same time I would also want the direction or the rotation of the wrist joints as well. So for example, you can see that the z-axis is facing up, okay, and the y-axis is facing to the side, right? So when you create a joint, a single joint, right, the direction is to the wall. Okay, y-axis is going up. So remember the technique that we use to snap. So you can kind of choose any joint here. Okay, it doesn't matter, it can be the wrist joint, wrist FK or IK, right? And then you press shift, select the newly created joint. Okay, we're going to go to constraint, parent, constraint, take away your maintain offset and then just click add. Okay, it's going to snap there, not only in terms of position, at the same time you can see now my Z and Y axis is also aligned. Remember, to just use it as a snap tool, okay, you need to throw away the constraint node afterwards. Okay, so I have my joint here. This is going to be my hand joint. Okay, I'm going to make it slightly bigger. Radius change from 0.5 to 1. I'm going to go to perspective here. Let's have a look. Okay, you can see that it's nicely aligned to the wrist. Now, so with this, I'm going to go to the top view. Okay, so let's rename this. Let's call it L underscore HAND, hand underscore JNT for joint. Now with this here, I'm going to just press Ctrl D. I'm just going to duplicate and I'm going to drag it somewhere here. Okay, now it's slightly big for the fingers. I'm going to bring it back to 0.5 radius. Okay, so that you can see. And I'm going to start off with my index finger knuckle. Okay, so the knuckle does not really happen too close to the intersection of the fingers. Okay, it's slightly behind. Okay, we can start off from here, from this particular loop. Right, I wouldn't worry too much about the angle for the moment now, so I'm just going to put it here. Okay, then make sure that you are in object mode. Okay, I'm going to press Ctrl D again. I'm going to create a second one. Right, so this is going to be my second joint. Now if you can see this slightly curved loops, okay, those are my second knuckle. Okay, so usually I try to find a 3 loop. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3, this is curving this way and this is curving this way. I take as an indication that this is, okay, the second knuckle. Right, so I'm going to put it in the middle loop. Now please remember, okay, when you Ctrl D and you move, try not to move it, okay, to the side. Alright, so what you want to do is when you press Ctrl D, just use your primary axis, which is the Y, and then just move it forward. Okay, you do not want your finger to be slanted, right? So it's just moving forward. Press Ctrl D again, move forward again, find the next loop. Right, so you can see the knuckle loop here, okay, the curvy edges. And press Ctrl D for the fourth one, which is our end joint, okay, over here at the tip of the finger. Now don't worry if it's slanting away from the mesh. Okay, later we can rotate the starting joint, okay, to make sure everyone else is aligned with the mesh. Now once we have this, select the last one followed by the third one, press P. So this is the child of this joint, this will be the child of this joint, and this will be the child of this joint. Press P. Okay, this is simple parenting. Right, so now we have everybody in check. Now if you take a look at my rotation, right, every single one of them has certain kind of value. Okay, now what you want to do is you just want to kind of select the first one. Okay, so the first join, okay, highlight all the rotation, right click, freeze rotation. Okay, so when you do that, you can see the first join now is 0 out, second one automatically 0, third automatically 0, fourth automatically 0 out as well. Okay, but they still maintained, okay, the y-axis as the primary. Okay, that is the most important for us. Okay, if you take a look at perspective, the z-axis is also all pointing up, okay, aligned with our wrist and our hand joint. Okay, now we'll do the rename later. Right, so what I'll do is, once I have this, I select the first joint, press Ctrl D, and I'm gonna move it somewhere here, okay, at the intersection here. Just place it there, don't worry about not aligning to the mesh. In a bit we will just rotate it. Press Ctrl D for the pinky as well. Okay, there's another intersection here. Now before we do the thumb, okay, let's align all these guys into the mesh. So for example, the pinky here, right, remember when you are rotating, you also need to make sure that you are rotating in object mode. Okay, so the object orientation mode, now rotate. Now do not use the outer ring here. This outer ring, when you rotate it, sometimes depending on whether you are in perspective, okay, you use the outermost, it actually rotates all three axes, okay, which is not what we want. Okay, we want to rotate just sideways, okay, to fit the mesh. So I'm just going to find this particular ring here, the blue color ring, click on that, that is the rotate Z. I'm going to rotate it until it kind of aligns with my finger. Right, okay, so that's one. Second one, again, Z rotation, align it, and the index as well. Oops, okay, there you go. Now once it's aligned, okay, again, because we rotate, you can see that there is value. Right click it, freeze rotate. Okay, freeze rotate, and for the pinky, freeze rotate as well. Okay, now just to ensure that every one of them have no rotational values, that's very important. Okay, just do a simple check. Right, after rotating, you realize, okay, for the index it's fine. Okay, for the middle finger, right, it's not really in the center of my knuckle loops. Okay, so what you can do, you can move it, but remember to only move in the primary axis, which is the y-axis. So move it into position, move it into position, and this should be at the tip. There you go. Okay, and the pinky as well, move it if you need to fit the loops. There you go. Okay, now for the thumb, okay, one thing we need to understand that the thumb, okay, usually is modeled in a 45 degrees, okay, angle. That means if you take a look at the hands from the top, okay, this is the surface where at the end of your finger you will see the fingernail, right? For the thumb, the fingernail is going to happen here. Okay, and if you look at this, this is kind of like not really from the top, not really from the front, okay, but of a slightly 45 or off angle like this, right? Now, so just bear in mind, this is where my finger nail is going to be. Okay, so that means this angle is the top of my thumb. Now if you take a look at all the other joints, okay, what is the axis that is pointing up in terms of the fingernail surface here? Okay, which this is the z-axis, right? So the z-axis is pointing up, so that means for the thumb you have to do the same. Okay, now I'm going to grab this particular joint, I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it to position. Okay, if you're not sure, go to top view first. Now where do I place the starting of the thumb? It's not here, okay, if you were to kind of wiggle your own thumb, okay, you realize that actually your thumb starts moving or rotating from somewhere very close to your wrist. Okay, if you take a look at the perspective view, okay, or you take a look at your own arm, there should be a slight lump, okay, or a bump, okay, at the start of your thumb, right? So that's where you actually want it to kind of start rotating as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top view here. So I'm going to place it somewhere around here. It's the start of my thumb. Now remember, for the z-axis is supposed to be perpendicular to the particular surface here, okay, the fingernail. So you have to kind of eyeball this a little bit. Okay, you need to rotate it. Now remember to rotate in object mode. Rotate it. Okay, try to fit it in. Another way for me to kind of eyeball this is to also see that, okay, this is the fingernail surface. Okay, the ring, the red color ring, okay, which is the x-axis ring, should be kind of like a vertical standing now. Okay, you can see that it's vertically standing, so I can kind of turn it around. When I press W to move, you can see that the z-axis pointer is pointing up. Okay, so this is a little bit of a eyeballing, okay, aesthetic wise. I cannot get away from this, so we need to really kind of rotate all three axes. Okay, to kind of make sure that it kind of fits inside the finger. And once you are kind of happy with it, let me tweak it a little bit more. There you go. Once I'm kind of happy with this, okay, the next thing I'll do is I'll move. Okay, for this one, you can see I have rotated quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to select the rotation, right click, freeze, rotate. Okay, that should set back, okay, the joint to be nicely aligned. Next is to move. Okay, so remember, only move in the primary axis. Now the next one should happen around these three loops, 1, 2, 3. So the center one should be around here. Okay, just eyeball the joint around. Okay, now the next one, you can see, okay, the curvy loops here. So this is where the joint should be. Okay, again, it's a lot of eyeballing here. And the last one is at the tip of the thumb. Okay, so you try to kind of get it in. Right, so once you have it in, okay, let's rename them, okay, before we get a bit lost with the different hand joints here. So here we have the hand. Okay, these are the index fingers. So what I like to do is I like to open up. Okay, I call the first one index 1, index 2, index 3, and index N. Okay, capital E. Why I put index N? So that we know that this is an end joint, we don't add it into the skin. Okay, so same as this is going to be middle 1, okay, for the middle finger, middle 2, middle 3, and middle N. Okay, this will be pinky for the pinky finger, pinky 1, pinky 2, pinky 3, and pinky N. Right, and last but not least, this is the thumb. Okay, so thumb 1, oops, thumb 2, thumb 3, and the thumb N. Okay, now to connect all this together, okay, what I'll do is I will grab my hand joint. I'm going to press Ctrl D, and I'm just going to move it forward. And where would I put this? Basically, I would like to put it to this particular loop over here. Okay, this helps sometimes with our animators to kind of hyperextend the hands. Okay, whether they are going to grab something or they just fall to the ground and they can kind of hyperextend their hand upwards. Okay, that'll be a nice flex to the palm as well. So I'm going to put one here. Okay, and I find that this is a little bit big, radius 0.5. Okay, so I'm going to call this let's call this palm, P-A-L-M, palm. Okay, now like just like the hand joint, we need to make sure we have the L and the JNT. So what I do is I'm just going to select all these joints here. Let's go to modify. Here you go, prefix hierarchy names. Okay, so prefix hierarchy names, I'm going to prefix it with L underscore. Okay, then click OK. Right, so I have it in there. Okay, so I don't think we have suffix, do we? Right, so too bad. Okay, what we need to do is we need to put JNT at the back. Okay, so I'm going to copy this underscore JNT. Right, and then I'm just going to paste it at the end. It's quite unfortunate. You know, who wouldn't thought that Maya would create such a beautiful function such as a prefix but not a suffix. It's a little bit of a exercise here. Clicking the mouse away. There you go. Small battle. Now, so the palm is going to be parented to the hand. So I'm going to just select the palm followed by the hand. Press P. Okay. Alright. I think one thing I forgot to do for the palm is to freeze the rotation. Freeze, rotate. Okay. And for the hands as well. Okay, so the hand joint, freeze, rotate as well. Okay, make sure that there is no value in the rotation channels. Okay, that's very important. Okay, now and then index 1, middle 1 and pinky 1 all goes to the palm. Okay, so select these three followed by the palm, press P. Okay, you can see all three goes to here. Okay, so if you raise it up, you can see, ta-da. Okay, it can help to rotate. Now, how about the thumb? Okay, the thumb will go straight to the hand. Okay, so select the thumb 1 followed by your hand joint. Okay, press P. Right, so when you rotate your hand joint, the whole finger, hand all move. Okay, but when you rotate your palm, okay, only the fingers move except for the thumb. Right. Okay. Now, so once that is done, okay, all you need to do is select your hand joint. Okay, you're going to mirror skeleton, mirror joints. Make sure you're using behavior. Okay, and then mirror. Right, so make sure you rename as well before you mirror so that you don't have to do a lot of renaming work after that. Right, so once you have all your finger joints in, okay, one other thing I kind of missed over here. Okay, let me delete that away. Okay, let me unparent these three joints first. Shift P. Kind of forget to mention that you need to also look at the joints from the side view, okay, and make sure that they are in the center of the fingers. Okay, my bad for this particular missed out about this earlier on. Right, so just make sure you push it down. Okay, eyeball it a bit. Okay, if you are unsure because wow, too many joints to see, okay, you can sometimes also go into the mesh, have a look at. Okay, make sure they're in the center of the finger tunnels. Right. Okay, once that is done, select them again, parent to the palm. Okay, press P. Now select the hand joint. Let's mirror again. There you go. Okay, almost forgot about those placements over there. Right, so now once your finger is done, all you need to do is parent the hand joint to the wrist joint. Okay, now make sure you select the correct wrist joint. Okay, you do not want the IK or the FK. Okay, you want the neutral joint. Okay, so the neutral wrist joint, okay, that's the one. Okay, so select the hand joint followed by the L wrist joint, press P. Okay, so this will ensure whether it's following IK or FK. Okay, right, the fingers will always follow the neutral ones, okay, the one that's binded to the skin, right? Okay, so do the same for the right hand side as well. Okay, I shall do it here since we are at this juncture of the rigging. Okay, select the hand joint followed by the R wrist joint, press P. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is the finger placement. Okay, so in the next video we'll take a look at creating some controllers.